Hello ladies and gentlemen of YouTube. Time for another Metal Earth build. I think it's time that I get into some of the other Disney exclusive models, and I'm going to start with castles. Sleeping Beauty's castle, to be precise. This is a kit that you can find at the Disney Park stores. I'm not sure, maybe a couple other Disney related places. You can find it online, but you can't just generally get it anywhere Metal Earth models are sold. But this looks really neat. I think I have had one person request it or ask if I've done it. Well, I'm going to do it now. Let's open this up and see what's inside. Sleeping Beauty's castle. Tap it and make sure everything's down at the bottom so I don't tear any more instructions. We have inside the instructions and two metal sheets. As usual, put those aside. And we're looking for page 1, the first instructions. Open this up. And we have page 1. There is the Metal Earth 3D Metal Model Kit usual logo and a line drawing of the completed model. We have a bit about insertion tabs, fold lines, insertion holes, and a little diagram pointing at those. The bit about needle nose pliers being helpful for assembly. We have the legend. You see an E pointing at something, it's telling you that's the engraved side. If you see an NE, it's telling you that's the non-engraved side. And a little pointy finger is some sort of attention point, and that can vary depending on what's going on. It may be trying to get you to pay attention to which slot a tab goes into, or a particular marking to be in a certain area. It just varies. And over here we have kind of an extension of the legend. If you see a blue circle, that means to fold the tab over 90 degrees. And if you see a green triangle, that means to twist the tab 90 degrees. And there's a little bit down here about pull and screw or twist metal 90 degrees to tighten it. And if you do pull and twist it, it does tend to be tighter, but not always. And at the bottom down here, we have the layout of the two metal sheets. And this might take me just a moment. There we are. It shows you all the part numbers and points to them in the diagram, so you can find the part numbers on the metal sheets. You also notice there's a lot of parts that are colored in. Essentially the colors, the items that are colored the same are identical and used possibly in more than one place. And what they'll do is they'll number one of them, like 33 is this green circular piece here. That's also 33, that's also 33, and so is that. It saves on the amount of numbers and helps avoid confusion when you're dealing with duplicate parts. I appreciate that they do this now. Please slide over to page 2 to the start of the assembly flowchart. And we start with part 1. Here we have 2 and 3. Add those on, and just continue with following the arrows. Jump down here, follow the arrows, you get to the bottom. Of course, you flip over to page 3. Seems like everything wants to be noisy today. Page 3, again, follow the arrows and the part numbers. This kind of angles down. Just continue following on to page 4. Same story. This one goes down and over, so sometimes they just don't go straight across. So pay a little bit of extra attention to that. Once you're at the end of page 4, of course, open up the next sheet. And on the inside you'll find page 5. And just continue on with that. Slide over, page 6. Assemble and fold. Flip it over for page 7 on the back. And you're just about done. And page 8, and you get to the bottom, and your model is all finished and complete. Let's talk tools. I have a pretty standard set of tools that I use in most every build. I have needle nose pliers, I have flat nose pliers. I have flush clippers. These are a must for me. They clip parts off the sheets quickly and cleanly. I have a set of precision tweezers, one with a very pointed end, one with the pointed end ground down slightly, and a flat set with a sort of curved tip, useful for twisting tabs in slightly curved areas. I also have a pretty standard set of tweezers with a flat angled end. These come in one of the Iconics kits, and I use them a lot. When it comes to shaping rounded parts, there are many options. I used dowel rods for a long time. I sharpened the ends of 2 of them with a pencil sharpener. These 2 are great for making cone shapes. Another option is a cheap drill bit set. This set has quite a few different sizes to choose from. Another option is a set of step mandrels. Ring pliers or round nose pliers can be found with jewelry making tools and work wonderfully for curving delicate and or hard to get to areas. I have the instructions in the 2 sheets. I have some tools to get me started. Let's build it. I ended up putting part 2 on upside down. I neglected to pay attention to which side the engraved side faced. These tabs come up right next to other parts. I had to pry them out some to be able to twist them. The tabs got in the way here, so I bent them in a little. I made the mistake of thinking I should close up part 8 into a circular shape, but instead I needed to leave the end open. It usually helps to bend tabs so that they are all pointing to the next part or connection. When the tabs stick out at odd angles, it's nearly impossible to line them up with their slots. Some of these pieces will need a lot of trimming. It might help to bend the tabs inward just a bit. The instructions state it is not necessary to bend the tabs here, but I found it necessary to bend them a little to get them into their slots. I used a diagram on the instructions as a guide to bend the walls. Unfortunately, I bent one of the walls in the wrong area and caused myself some confusion. Sometimes I twist tabs over lightly that are supposed to be bent when there is little to no other support. When more of the model is together, I will go back, straighten the tab, and then bend them over. I tilted the tabs out slightly so that they would go through the angled slots. It was at this point that I realized I had put the last tower on the wrong corner. These cone-shaped tops are a challenge to form into shape. I still have trouble with them. For the next few tabs, I bent the top of the tab out slightly and sort of wedged them into place. The curve on the tab was so that they didn't get caught in the slots, but instead slid in and through the slots. The instructions indicate to twist the tabs on the bottom. I bent mine over thinking it would sit better that way. Now that it is all together, time to go back and straighten out all the flags and crosses. The castle is all done, and I'm not sure, now that I think about it, if I should call it Sleeping Beauty's castle in a possessive or just the Sleeping Beauty castle. I'm not real sure. This was a challenging kit though. It took just about 3 hours for me to put together, and a lot of little detail. It wasn't terribly hard, but it wasn't easy, which I kind of expected that. I did not expect this to be an easy model. It's got a lot of nice detail in the stonework, brickwork that goes around it. A lot of the engraving is very nice detail. It has a lot of flags. I decided, I don't think the picture on the packaging has all the flags in the same direction, but I thought that would make more sense to have them all kind of in the breeze in the same direction. There's a couple of towers that aren't as straight as I would like for them to be, probably more than a couple, but I did the best I could as always, and it's not perfect. They never really are. As usual though, it was a fun build and I enjoyed doing it and look forward to putting together more. When I started this video, I said this is a Disney exclusive and you can only get it through the Disney park stores or their app or their web page. I have since found out, actually just a few minutes ago, before recording the closing, that I went online to Amazon and looked for something and saw that they are now on Amazon. So you can buy these castles and other Disney kits. You can buy, I found Rex, Pilot Droid Rex, and I found the Land Speeder. The only thing I did not see was the Star Speeder 1000. But everything else is now available on Amazon, at least for the US, so that's a change. Can't go back and re-record the first part because I've already opened the package. And I'm going to end it there. As always, if you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. Thank you for watching, and keep on cubing on.